New education system at Houston ISD has sparked both praise and criticism. Some see it as a model for improving schools, while others worry it's one-size-fits-all approach that might not work for every student. Our Candace Burns sat down with Superintendent Mike Miles to discuss the transformation and how he's responding to teacher and students' concerns. Candace, good morning.
Hi, Zach. Good morning.
Thank you so much for being here with
Absolutely.
us. I know you spoke with Superintendent Miles recently. You've spoken to him several times, but you had a recent conversation. Did he say anything about the future of the new education system that stood out to you during this most recent conversation?
Yeah, so remember when he first got here, there were like about 90 schools that became NES schools. Some of them decided to become NES schools. Others he chose to be NES schools.
Opted in.
Right.
Yeah.
And so then this year, we're up to like 130 NES schools. That's almost half the district. So my first question to him was like, some parents when they heard that more schools were being brought in and they hear nearly half the district, they want to know if your plan is to make the entire district a new education system district. And he said, absolutely not. There are schools in Houston ISD that do not need the structure, and I do not intend to have it at all of the HISD campuses. He said when he first got here, his goal was to have it at 150 campuses. He's still sitting there, that 150 mark. So I'm
so glad you brought us back into time, because I do recall that it was mandated, that new system was mandated for
about 20 something, 25 schools.
Yes.
Maybe. I can't remember the exact numbers.
And then more opted to go on. Is that saying anything about the success from what those schools saw?
It depends on who you ask. Some people say, yeah, they wanted to bring it on because it was working. Others say they felt like there was no other option. They saw the writing on the wall and they thought, I better do this
before it's mandated.
Exactly, and we have to lose teachers that we want to keep here. So they thought they would get ahead of it. That's what I'm hearing from people on all sides.
And then Mr. Miles saying, no, that's not the case. I would not be rolling this out at other schools because not all schools need
this. He says some schools don't need that extra structure, the teacher assistants. They don't need the hospital model working at their campuses because they are doing okay.
Obviously, you've taken a deep dive in this material through your reporting in Focus on
Thanks to Fleming.
Yeah. Talk to us about how things are going there with NES.
So Fleming, I've spent a lot of time on that campus. I noticed that the teachers who are there have a desire to be there for the students. It's an underserved community, lots of black and brown kids. And there are teachers there, not just black and brown kids, there's lots of kids, but underserved community, and the teachers want to be there. And one teacher, Ms. Plummer, told me, you can't be here because you want the money, because you know NES teachers make a lot, they make more money than teachers at other schools in the district. So it looks enticing as a teacher. Oh, I want to make $100,000. I'll go work here. She said, no, you can't come here for the money because it's a lot of work. You gotta really care about the kids. And so that's what I'm hearing from them. They are telling me, Ms. Plummer, again, a great example from talking to the teachers there, that the system is working for her. She was very skeptical. She was at Fleming before NES. She was there for the first year, and she was still kind of hesitant about it. This year, she says if she were ever to leave HISD, she would implement some of these strategies in a classroom outside the district. But I have to say that there are teachers who are hesitant to talk to us on camera. They kind of move away when they see us coming down the hallway. I don't know if that means that they are camera shy, or if they don't want to talk about it, right? But they love the kids, so they won't leave the campus. I don't know, because they don't talk to me, but I think it's worth mentioning.
Yeah. Regardless, though, it takes a village, right? We talk about this with any transformation in any industry. When you have people sign on to this, in order for it to be successful, you really need participation from almost everyone. Of course, there are going to be naysayers, and yes, there will be people first in line to roll this out. But it takes that community, and that's what you're seeing through Fleming.
Fleming is a great example, and that's what I'm hearing from the superintendent. That's what I'm hearing from teachers, kind of what you're saying, and that's what I'm hearing from the administration at Fleming. If everybody wasn't on board, it wouldn't work at Fleming. And maybe that's the case. I'm not on other campuses. I don't know, but I know that it takes change like this, takes strong administration, takes strong managers, and people look at it on the outside as a one-size-fits-all thing, and you have to follow these things like this, like this, like this. But at Fleming, they're like, no, we have to follow this. But they've learned how to manage it in a way that works for their kids. And so that has to be in it. You know, you have to be flexible while you're still following the structure. And that's what Fleming has been able to work out. And I've talked to parents. I've gone to PTO meetings, I've gone to open houses, and all the parents that I'm talking to, they're not hesitant to speak to me. And they say their kids are learning, and they say that they're happy with the structure. But some schools need that structure.
Yeah.
It's working at Fleming.
And we, of course, are hearing from the parents who are saying this is not working.
Right.
So it's the stories from both sides of the fence
Absolutely.
here.
So
for
important
sure.
to tell them. And just like I said, like he even mentioned, the superintendent, this is not for every campus. And also, administration plays a huge role in how this rolls out on campuses. But I think that he should, it takes responsibility from the home office too, to make sure that the administration has the supports that they need to be able to roll it out in a way that teachers feel supported and comfortable, and students feel like they're getting what they need. So it takes a village, like you said.
Has he let you in on how he's dealing with the criticism of his administration or NES?
Every time I ask him that, he always says that change is hard and it creates anxiety and it creates uncertainties. So he came in knowing that he would have to face that, and he says that he wants the data to speak for whether it's successful or not, the data to determine if NES works or not. So he kind of doesn't go really deep into it, but says, yeah, you got to expect when change, there's going to create, when expectations, what he considers are raised, that's going to create anxiety.
Early voting kicks off today on the ballots for many, that $4.4 billion proposal through
HISD's bond proposal.
Their bond proposal.
Which is very important when you think about it. It has a lot of funds in there to rebuild schools. There's lots of issues in elementaries, middle schools, ceilings with mold and water. And people are saying, yes, on both sides, these things need to be fixed. But those in opposition of this proposal right now are saying, we need this, but not under the current administration. We want to have an elected board. We want to have a superintendent that we choose to spend that amount of money. And I've even heard parents who feel that way say, I would be willing to support a bond that wasn't $4.4 billion. Something smaller I feel more comfortable with. $4.4 billion, if that's approved, that's the largest bond approval in Texas history. That's a lot of money.
And at one point, Miles was saying he wanted that to be $10 billion.
Well, no, he said that's the actual need.
That was the actual need.
They had people come in to do surveys, look over the schools, look over what the schools need, and he said the actual need is $10 billion.
There you go.
But what he believes Houston can afford
and can do
without raising taxes immediately is $4.4 billion.
Questions, concerns, C. Burns at
Please send them
KPRC.
in.
She'll be on top of it. Candace, as always, thank you very much. 8:54, we're back in just a moment.